Facebook friends, what's up? How are you? I know it has been a minute since I posted a video. These past couple weeks, life just completely got in the way. One of our daughters got really sick and ended up having to go into the hospital, so I was in full-on mom mode for about a week and a few days. She is thankfully much better. It was not COVID, which I'm very thankful for. I was able to do a lot of reading during that time, but there wasn't any time to film. And then trying to pick back up and catch up with life after that and making sure everybody else has their needs taken care of and just getting back into the groove of things has taken me a little bit. So I thank you for your patience. I'm going to be filming 3 videos today, so there will definitely be content coming your way, and I'm excited because this is the first holiday book that I'm bringing to you this season. I do plan on reading a couple of them. If you remember last year, if you've been here for a while, you'll know that I did a 12 days of Christmas event with my wonderful, amazing author friend Dawn Edwards. That was so much fun. I will link in the description box below those videos. I think I have a playlist, so I can link the playlist. It was a lot of fun to do that, and I hadn't read like exactly holiday books in the romance genre before that. I knew they were out there, I just didn't really gravitate towards them. So I was so thankful that Dawn brought up that idea, and I read so many, and it got me all excited to be able to read them again during this time of year. The book we're going to talk about today is called The Trouble with Christmas by Ashley Bostock or Bostock. I'm sorry, Ashley, if I don't get the pronunciation of your name correctly, but I was, like I said, so excited to dive in, and this was like the perfect super Christmassy book to start with. The book is about Lily and Jagger. It's a small town romance as well. In addition to being a holiday romance, it's a full-length book. It's not a Christmas novella, which I know can be really common this year, but it is a full-length book. Lily has recently gone back to the town where her grandmother lived, which is called Snowflake. And her grandmother has recently died, so she's gone back with her sisters. They inherited basically their grandmother's bakery and are kind of deciding what they want to do with it. Lily is the first to arrive. She's coming off kind of a hard time in her life. She's feeling a little lost, not only because of the loss of her grandmother, who was very much beloved, but also because she's broken up with her fiance. Her life is what she had is not what it is anymore, if that makes any sense. And she doesn't really know where to go. She, so it kind of felt like it was a good time for her grandma to die, as much as I hate to say that, but she was able to find a place to live and to hopefully find a new direction. We know that Lily would like to, in some ways, step into her grandmother's shoes, run the bakery. It gives her a place to live. It gives her something to do. Her sisters talk about her being kind of flighty. I didn't get that feeling with her, but again, when the book picks up, she's grounded by going to her grandmother's bakery and wanting to start her new life and all of that. So I understood why they mentioned that, and that was part of her personality, I guess. But I thought that was kind of an unfair assessment by them, and it hurt her feelings. So that's where Lily is when the book starts. Jagger is her soon-to-be love interest. He lives in the town. He is a single dad. His father lives there. He was raised by just his father, so his father was a single dad. There's kind of a reoccurring theme there, and that has touched Jagger very deeply. He runs the grocery store next door to the bakery and has his sights on that space to expand his own business. On top of these storefronts are apartments slash condos, and they share a common wall, and I just thought that was really cute. I know neighborhoods and downtowns that have and look like that, so I could picture that very easily. And Jagger is hot to trot single dad that everyone in the town wants. Snowflake is definitely the quintessential small town. You get that vibe. Everyone knows everybody. Everyone knows everyone's business. Everyone's waiting for Lily and her sisters to get there because they know that they're the ones that kind of will decide what's going to happen with the bakery. The bakery has been closed since their grandmother died. And it's, you know, news travels fast in Snowflake. And of course, the way that we see Lily and then what we know from Jagger, you're kind of wondering what's going to happen there. They are instantly attracted to one another. They have, you know, instant chemistry. You felt that 100%. But like I said, Lily's kind of lost and Jagger wants her business. The other little added thing that made this story a little extra interesting is that Jagger doesn't like Christmas. And he lives in a town called Snowflake, which does Christmas up big time. And of course, not that he's like the Scrooge, but he has a lot of sadness around Christmas and he doesn't like Christmas. But yet he's got this 5-year-old little boy, and that part was kind of sad because Casen is kind of like, well, my dad doesn't really like Christmas. So Casen hasn't really gotten the full Christmas spirit. Jagger and Lily meet immediately when she literally gets dropped off with her suitcase in front of the bakery. They've all been waiting for her to show up, and this is what Jagger says. He reached out to touch her again, hesitated, and dropped his hands to his sides. I had an ulterior motive originally, and yes, I'm still motivated to buy your property if it doesn't work out, but I'm not an asshole. I'm not hoping for you and your sisters to fail. I want to be friends with you. The logical part of her brain agreed that yes, it was a reasonable thing for him to think about. Why was she wanting to hold it against him? He was her neighbor, her first welcoming neighbor in Snowflake. Thanksgiving and Christmas were approaching. Maybe you're not hoping that we fail, but how will I ever be able to trust that you want me to succeed? So that was a big question that I wondered if that's where we were going to go with the story, if it was going to be kind of a enemies till they finally break down that wall kind of thing. I know I've mentioned before on my channel that I am such a sucker for a single dad romance. I just can't help it. It just works for me. It just gets my engines going. And Jagger, let me tell you, he had the whole cute, sexy, swoony single dad thing going for him. I adored his son Casen. He was as sweet as they come. I have a son, so I remember when my son was 5 and just how innocent and pure and lovely, and what a great stage in life being 5 is, whether it's a boy or a girl. I have a picture of my son when he's 5, and he's such a car guy, and he always has been. One of his very first favorite things was I would take him to Target and go shopping for whatever we needed. And we always went down the aisle that had the Matchbox and the Hot Wheels, and he always wanted one. He was just drawn to cars and dinosaurs, his thing. He still has all of those cars. He has like 2,000 of them, I think. So Casen, immediately I could picture my son at the same age, and this is one of those moments where I just was like, oh, that I just loved. There's an interaction between Jagger and Lily and Casen, and you soon realize that Casen is just as taken with Lily as Jagger is. If Jagger's asshole meter could get any higher, he grimaced at Lily's questioning face. Look, I'm happy to bring him over. Isn't it a little early to put together gingerbread houses, though? It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Lily gave the two of them a large smile and gave her box a little shake. Not if you hang out with me. As far as I'm concerned, Christmas should be celebrated year-round. Her voice held so much enthusiasm, Jagger almost smiled. She looked at Jagger and Casen thoughtfully before she added, and I suppose you could say it is, in a way, if you have religion. But I'll tell you what, Casen, how about you and your dad come over to my place tonight? We'll meet at the bakery, and you can help me decorate. Your dad can play on his phone or whatever he does to keep himself entertained. Do you want me to show you again what my idea of entertainment is, Miss West? Casen didn't question his dad's idea of entertainment, instead asking, Can we, Dad, please? Casen bobbed up and down next to him, bumping into his leg. The majority of Jagger's body was warning him away from this good tiding, far, far away. He wanted to say no, but the nonstop bouncing against his leg was excitement that wasn't going to go away, and it was something he wanted to be a part of for his son. He tried like hell to make Casen happy, and sometimes, yes, overcompensated for the lack of a mom and son in his son's life. One thing was for sure, Jagger definitely couldn't ignore the rest of his body that wanted to go, despite what they were doing, just to be near Lily again. Sure, what time? We'll bring dinner. Lily's eyes heated and the air between the two of them increased in temperature. If you're going to bring dinner, then come at 6. I'll be waiting. Yeah? Casen jumped again. Now that we got that settled, you ready? Jagger held out his hand for his son and the two of them started for the door. Can't wait to see you guys later. Oh, and Jagger? Jagger's heartbeat thumped in his chest. He turned to Lily, his eyes mentally undressing her. He couldn't help smiling despite the uncomfortableness he felt towards having to deal with the gingerbread house. Yeah? Bring my wine back, please. Her gaze moved slowly over his body, down past his collar, and landed on his area. He chuckled. Anything you want. She gave him a wink, and just like that, he was gone. I like her, Casen said. Jagger squeezed his hand, unwilling to admit that he sort of liked her too. That was one of those first moments where I was like, oh my gosh, are they both falling in love with her at the same time? I loved the way Ashley wrote all that. Lily doesn't know the first thing about running a bakery, a business. She doesn't know how to bake. Her grandmother, Ginger, was the town baker. So of course there was learning all of that. She had a really steep learning curve, and there were times where, although I knew that she was headstrong and she was going to make it work, that I wasn't sure if it was going to. How their relationship developed, and then separately how her relationship with Casen was. Oh my gosh, he was like this cute little shining light in this book. I really wanted a happily ever after for her and Jagger, but I really wanted one for Casen as well. It was this moment that my heart literally like clenched and I got tears in my eyes. Lily held out her hand, and instead of grasping it, Casen put his arms up. Hold me, I'll take you to him. Lily laughed and picked him up. He was so sweet. She couldn't resist kissing his cheek. Like most boys probably would, Casen didn't say anything about the kiss. He looked into her eyes and she stared right back. His eyes were like his daddy's, dark with swirls of different colors of brown, and it was easy for Lily to get lost in them. Casen leaned into her and kissed her on the nose, a small, sweet little peck that had her heart tripping over itself. Will you be my mommy? It was the sweetest and scariest thing she'd ever heard Casen utter. We do get a happily ever after in this story. I absolutely loved it. Let me know if you have read The Trouble with Christmas or any of Ashley's other books. I would love to hear. And thank you for taking a moment to hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. It not only helps my channel, but it will also help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube. I invite you always to come over to my social media, which is Cat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye!